So let me get in Craig in. Craig SANTY. Hey, buddy.
Hello,
Sorry,
Robert.
Whenever I talk to Craig, we talk very personal. He came to Malaysia, Hong Kong for lived with me. Was my flatmate, housemate for 6-7 months. And let me tell you, Craig SANTY is a Hollywood. In fact, he's a Hollywood producer for Looper and Resident Evil. He does commercial TV projects for top studios and networks and global brands, and he speaks Mandarin. So if you insult him in Mandarin, you know what you're talking about. So and of course he's lived in and worked in China. So Craig, where are you now? Right now?
I'm in Southern California right now.
So how's COVID-19 in USA? I'm sorry I have to ask you this stupid question. It's the worst question to ask an American.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you guys probably hear in the news we're struggling with it. We're really having a hard time. Current numbers, I just checked with Johns Hopkins and the WHO to see we're tracking at about 25 million cases confirmed, and almost 500,000 deaths. It's still increasing at somewhere between 150 and 200,000 new cases every day.
Yeah, and then now you have a new president, Mr. Biden. And
yes, we do, and thank God we're still here. We didn't have a civil war, so that's good. California is not a country; it's still a state.
Yeah, I mean, what happened? We're not going to go in politics and capital and all that. I mean, I had that with Hong Kong and all the protesting. So you and I have seen that, right, ourselves.
Yes,
so anyway, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about your topic, which is Hollywood secrets to unlocking your digital power. So Craig is wonderful. By the way, there's something you do not know about him. He's an opera singer. Seriously, he can sing opera, and he's done that a few times. And you're from Juilliard School of what do you call it? Music, is it?
At Manhattan School of Music, Conservatory in New York City. Yep.
Yeah, and then you have some incredible successes. You're the first guy, you're the only reporter that reported about the bombing of the World Trade Center in 1993. Is it? Yeah, so you're lucky. In fact, I blogged about your article. So you have a lot of lucky breaks in your life. Share with us some of your struggles too in this half an hour.
Sure.
Yeah. So okay, we were saying that we were going to talk a bit about digital influence. What do you call it? Nano-influencers and all that.
Sure.
Let's just ping pong.
Yeah. So, well, I can't echo the words of Ganesh more. The things that he was saying is right on the money. I attend a lot of conferences here in the U.S., mostly digital, obviously now, but I pay a lot of money and access a lot of really powerful minds here. And he was literally just reading right out of their playbook. So kudos to him for having the vision to see that stuff. As I said, the stuff that he was saying, you won't find it online. You can't Google that. That's inside information that people who are doing this on a daily basis know. So that's awesome to hear that. Just to give you an idea, up until COVID hit, the U.S. economy was bubbling along pretty well. Yes. Unemployment had gone from just over 5% to about 3.6% over about a 5-year period. And since June, we've lost 8 months. We've lost 7.7 million jobs.
Wow.
5.3 million food and beverage workers on top of that, who are not counted in that because they're technically on furlough or part-timing, since some of the restaurants are still allowed to do takeout. even though they're not allowed to do dine-in. So that has, you know, people are resilient, you know. That's one thing that you can say about people. Sure, we get down, we get depressed, but in the end of the day, we're resilient, and that's why we survive as a species. And so what I look at is what's happening, you know, as positive as a result of that, you know. One of the things that I see really is people taking the opportunity. You know, the first few months, I think everybody was kind of panicking, but then slowly over time, people started to look inward, and they started to take an inventory of themselves. Who am I? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? You know, a lot of people said, hey, if I was ever going to reinvent myself, this is the time to do it. And since you couldn't go outside, since you couldn't do something in the physical world, that meant figuring out a way to do it in the digital world, the virtual world. And so the first thing that I'd like to talk to you guys about is something I find very fascinating, and that's the world of the influencer, or the expert, or the ambassador. So this is something that if you're passionate about something, this is an excellent opportunity for you, because one thing about, I would say, the digital world, the virtual world, is that, as you guys know, it's keyword specific. In other words, Google or Yahoo or any of those search engines, they can't help you unless you give them a clue, right? What do you want to do today? And you give them that keyword, you give them that search term, and boom, you're off, right? Your journey begins. You're about to go down a dozen rabbit holes, right? So that's why this whole influencer thing is interesting, because if you have a passion for a subject, that subject is the keyword. And people will find you because people are searching for that keyword. So it doesn't matter if it's gardening or babies or finance. There are millions of people out there that are in this moment typing in that word, and they want to find you because they don't have the information and they want the information. And so this is an amazing time right now. What's happening? It's a global coming together of people for so many different reasons. And as you said, business and the personal life and the spiritual life, it's all one. And the cool thing about the digital world is it is all one in the digital world, because they all live in harmony there. You could just as easily search for information on meditation and then quickly jump online and check your stocks. So it's such an easy world to sort of do that, and where it's actually more difficult to do that in the physical world. To sort of, you have to physically kind of go to different places to do that. So the influencer world is a great opportunity for people, because you know what? You don't need anyone's permission to do it. You don't need a degree. You don't need someone to give you that as a job. You can basically move into that space and say, I'm going to claim this space because I have interest and I have passion. And a lot of people now are able to monetize that, because if you are speaking to people and people are listening to you, then brands are going to say, hey, this guy has an audience. I would like to address that audience through this person, whether it's a lady or a man, or even young people. There are many young people getting into this space. So in the United States, I'm working with brands very often, as we did with
a lot of celebrities. I know that you always with celebrities. In fact, when you came to Malaysia, within 2 weeks, we were in the A-listers. I remember everybody wants to be with us, and they want to go to Hollywood, and So what's the power of a celebrity?
So the power of celebrity is essentially to take the noise that's out there and start to cut through that. So a celebrity can do that because when you see them, there's instant recognition. Oh, I know that face, right? I know that person. He's a professional athlete or he's a movie star. And then you have an opportunity to use that power to speak to that audience through that celebrity. And so it's really important, as this is obvious, but it's really important to choose a celebrity that resonates with your message, that resonates with your story, and that it's authentic. The one thing I did want to say about this world of influencers is that it must be authentic. The one thing that the people on the digital space will not tolerate is something that they feel is not real. And so working with a celebrity, it's really important that we go for the synergy, that we make sure that there's synergy between the brand story, the celebrity, their celebrity's lifestyle. But I will say this, that working with celebrities for about 30 years now, there is also a limit to what a celebrity can achieve, because a celebrity is sort of here, and we're sort of down here, and so we can't really have a direct relationship and necessarily relate. And that's where this world of micro-influencers and nano-influencers comes in. These are people that are passionate about a particular subject. They're on social media, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Twitch, Pinterest, Twitter. They're on there on a daily basis, and they're sharing their thoughts, their feelings, their observations about the world. And what happens is that they get a core following that's very loyal because they really resonate with that message. So maybe they've got 5,000 followers or 10,000 followers or 25,000 followers. What our study shows is that these smaller influencers have higher conversion rates. So in other words, because the people believe in them, and they also sort of see themselves as like this, so they feel like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. There isn't that distance that there is with a celebrity. So a lot of times what we'll do is a multi-tiered campaign where we use a celebrity at the top to sort of brand it, establish the value in the market, right? And cut through the noise to get that message out. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of take it, what we call the halo effect, and we let the glow go over all of the other influencers, and it's like, it makes them shine. And then that little bit of shine on those influencers is that little extra thing that gives value and credibility to them, so that their followers say like, hey, you know what, I could be listening to 5 or 6 people in this area, but I'm going to choose you.
Okay. So you mentioned about nano-influencers and micro. What's the difference?
It's just scale. Different people have different definitions, but I would say anybody below 10,000 followers would be considered a nano-influencer. And I would say anybody below probably 200,000 would be considered a micro-influencer.
Okay. And then of course you have the mega.
Yeah. Then you have, what we call KOLs, or key opinion leaders. Those are the ones that they're essentially at the same level as a celebrity, although they're not technically celebrities because they actually don't have a career outside of being an influencer. So in other words, they're not an athlete or an actress or a chef. Their job is basically doing the digital, the work of essentially a digital presenter. So so that's one of the things. And then the other thing I wanted to sort of touch on is this reinventing yourself. It's been tapping into people's dreams, and a lot of people have said, hey, you know what, I want to try, and I think Ganesh touched on this, I want to try to do my entrepreneurial dream. I've thought about it for 10 years, for 20 years, and I really want to try to do it. And this is an interesting it's an interesting situation, because what it does is it sort of creates a few different outcomes. And one of them is kind of directly related to HR, which is kind of an interesting and unexpected connection.
Okay. Anything else? How to unlock this digital power? you have a lot of experience in China and some of the things you're working on. What can be, because our group here is a lot of corporate types.
Yeah.
They're also entrepreneurs. Anything that that we can help them with?
Yeah. Well, I would say that if you're doing more of your business now digitally, and this is sort of stepping back a little bit from sales and branding and just talking in general, if you're doing more of your work virtually now, I would say try to be consistent, because consistency is really important when you're not seeing people. So even if you don't have anything important to say, check in with people. Just let them know that you're there. Let them know that you're engaged, because if it's the sort of thing that's like, you know, out of sight, out of mind. And you just want to make sure that whether it's a client or somebody that you hope to land as a client, or another business partner, or a company that your company collaborates with, be consistent in your communication with people. I have people that I work with, and sometimes they don't contact me for 6 or 8 weeks. We finally have a phone call, and I find out that 3 or 4 major things transpired that I kind of wish I had known about, because I would have had, it would have influenced me in sort of what I had done during that period of time. So that's one of the things that I would say. And as far as kind of dovetailing into the HR thing,
yeah, HR.
Can I go there?
Yeah, HR. Yeah, good.
Yeah, is that as Ganesh was saying, you know, entrepreneur, intrapreneur, there will be a lot of people as we begin to transition back to work. You know, there will be a lot of people who kind of went for it and got into the startup world, tried their hand at being an entrepreneur, and found out that that world is not for them. And they're going to be coming back into the corporate space. This is a tremendous opportunity for anyone on the corporate side, for anyone in HR.
Can you explain? Because just like there's few people in the banks, and just now even Ganesh said, hey, you can be an intrapreneur, not entrepreneur. That means you're inside your company, whether it's the bank or very stuffy, or let's not say stuffy, but very conservative bank or finance. How can they influence? How can they be an intrapreneur in this? Tell us some of your insights. What do you think?
Well, I would say the first thing is, you know, have an onboarding where you bring them in and you talk to them. You know, what have they been up to? What were some of the passions that they explored? What were some of the insights that they were able to pull out of being out there? You know, I liken, you know, being an entrepreneur to, you know, basically jumping from one stair that's on fire to another stair that's on fire. You're always in a situation where you're one step away from total disaster or total success. And so they'll have a lot of insight to share. And the idea basically is keep that passion, keep that energy alive. How many you know, how many companies have a corporate structure where they allow for some sort of a you know, a round table type of a regular discussion where everyone's invited, you know, maybe all of the people in a particular department are invited to come in and brainstorm. They're invited to come in and talk about things that they see or ways that they see innovation that's happening in the outside world that might be able to be brought inside the company. And there's a tremendous wealth and value that these people have that you can tap into, and that you don't have to pay extra for. They want to give it to you. They want to feel heard. They want to feel empowered to be part of the success of the company. And frankly, it's important for them because they were in the entrepreneurial world. It didn't work for them, but you want to foster that inside of them because that is something that they have that's special. And hey, with all of those people coming up with that information and those ideas for you, your company's going to stay innovative, and your company is going to be looking forward and going to be sort of seeing those opportunities and also looking at trends that are dying so that you know when innovation is really important. And in my business, in media and entertainment and branding, we have to look, you know, two years down the road constantly, because technology is changing so fast that really does impact how deals are done, because a typical life cycle of a deal for us is 2 to 4 years. So if technology changes in the middle of the deal, it could be disaster. So yeah, so that's what I would say there is embrace the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, Ganesh was talking about that as well, isn't it? And how you have to be, you know, it's only only 6 months. That's all you have, and you sometimes it's like it's no longer the old way. It's ready, aim. Take your research, do your market research, and then fire. So now it's ready, fire. So even though you don't have all the answers, you're figuring out, like how Ganesh was trying to figure out. Of course, those days were 6-7 years. But now it's only like 6-7 months, and then you just have to go to market, have some conviction, and then tweak it. It's like the guided bullet. You shoot, fire, and then fine tune your way. I think the biggest mistake is people make a slow decision, take a long time to make a decision, and then when they make then they freak out and then they change. The thing is, make quick decision and fine tune as you go. I think that is a great solution. What do you think, Craig?
That's absolutely right. In China, we have an expression: a car with 3 wheels still can run. So, and that's very true. It can be, you know, it can be very nerve-wracking for people who you know are used to sort of doing things in a certain way.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing challenge to challenge yourself to say, you know, can we launch with an MVP that is good but not perfect? And are we committed to being, you know, able to adjust on the fly in real time? And frankly, the data that's out there really supports that if you're not doing it that way, you're just going to be too slow for the market.
So being on top of things and putting your ear on the ground, right, to see what's out there, and then learn from the best people like Ganesh, like yourself, because you have the pulse. You actually know what's ahead. Yeah. You were saying about this China thing. In fact, you were talking about it last night, right? About and he said 10% of all this is live auctioning. I remember this Singapore guy. He's loudmouth. He said the bad word in Mandarin, and people love it. It's like and then they kind of tease him like, hey, what is your prawn, male or female? You know, but he gets 10,000 views every day, and he sells lots of prawns and fish and all that. So tell us about this live thing, that you have seen so far.
Yeah. So you know, as a marketing person, and the people that are here, you know, that do marketing and sales, I'm sure they're aware that, you know, text has a certain sales quotient, and then a photo is always more powerful than straight text, and then video is always more powerful than a photo, and live video, as we're finding, is actually more powerful than recorded video. And if the live video is actually interactive, then that's the ultimate. Live interactive is the ultimate sales tool, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry in China. They've built everything around it. So the entire e-commerce structure is built around your ability to have a phone in your hand with an app running. All of your payment information is already part of the app. So you don't have to fiddle around with accounts or credit cards. It's all integrated. So if you're watching a person and they're doing a TikTok video in China, there's a buy now button right on the screen. So you can just purchase without ever leaving the experience. They've made it completely streamlined, and it's an amazing experience that everything else has been designed to make that easy. So the payments, you know, the fulfillment, you know, you order and the guy's probably at your door within a few hours. there's no such thing as like 5 weeks waiting to get your product. That now it's everything is fast. And again, remember what I was saying before. It's that being in a niche, people tend to find someone online that they connect with. They like the way they talk. Maybe they like a particular thing that they're doing, whether maybe it's candles, or maybe it's organic baby food, or maybe it's CBD based massage oils. Whatever their little thing is, they'll tap into that. And again, most of these guys are not they're not celebrities, and they're not I wouldn't even call them KOL.
They're not famous.
They're really, most of them are just kind of at that micro-influencer level, where they have somewhere around 200,000 followers. And they've got probably anywhere from 2 to 10,000 people watching them at any given time. Well, if you're converting, which our numbers are showing that these guys are converting at 30%. So, you do the math. Most traditional advertising is converting at about 3%. So it's a 10-time increase on what's going on even in other spaces within digital. Within your Amazon and your Shopify and stuff. So what gets interesting now is, how does this move around the world, and why will it move around the world? What's pushing it? So we all know that China is the factory of the world, right?
Yes.
And primarily they sell to wholesalers, right? And primarily those wholesalers are representing brick and mortar stores, right? I mean, look, Amazon is really big. Everyone has heard of Amazon. They know what it is.
Yes. Or Alibaba, or any of this. Yes.
Or Alibaba, any of them. But they're still small compared to retail in the brick and mortar space. That still makes up the majority of the retail.
Yes.
So with 90% of that shut down in the United States, because there are no malls open here. The only shopping that's allowed to be open are outdoor stores, and then at a very restricted amount of occupancy and restricted numbers.
You're saying shopping malls are closed? Really?
Completely closed.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I heard that 1/3 of all shopping malls will close in USA in the next 1-2 years, and about 40,000 stores will close within this year. So it is that bad.
They keep trying to reopen them, and then they keep shutting them because every time they open, there's a spike. And they can actually see the spike geographically right around the mall. So it's like everyone who lives in that area is sick.
Yeah, because of course in Asia even more so, where the shopping mall is the place where people hang out, the young people hang out to eat, to drink, or whatever. So I bring a question. It's like there's a lot of corporate types here. There are a lot of head of HR or whatever. So how is it? And I've seen a lot of even executives or senior people doing their own side business. While they're working in the real world, in the corporate world. So what's your opinion about that? And is there a way we can help them?
Well, that's a huge phenomenon. I think that's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that I think it goes back to what I was saying about them having the ability to sort of look inward, and tap into something that they were just too busy before to really have the time to kind of, take inventory and say, you know what, I'm really interested in doing that. And then you turn around and you got your friend, and he's not going to work either. Like, so the two of you guys have some free time on your hands, and then something can develop. So that's really interesting. And I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens as this winds down. How many people decide to go for the new project and leave their old careers behind?
Yeah, I mean, they are, of course, not all will take the big leap. They may just test it out. They may, while they're still at their job, they're moonlighting, and they may just do that. But if it's gone so big, it can be part-time to full-time. So this is the new phenomena. It's like the borderless marketing, which Samsul Nasrik will talk about next in his thing, where you can actually capitalize on that. Yes.
And it's like you were saying, when I was in Malaysia, you used to talk about people who are like a slash, like I'm a this and a that, they
yeah.
multiple titles, and I think that's always kind of existed, and I think you're going to find that that's going to be even more common now.
Yes.
One other thing, and when you asked about things that we could do to help people, I'd like to suggest one thing: ebooks.
Ebooks. Tell us about that, because I know some people here are into writing. I'm a writer myself. And aspiring writer, even take some masterclass from Malcolm Gladwell and all that. So tell us about ebooks. Tell us about that. That's a fascinating area, that you can be an ebook publisher. Just like let's talk about that.
Yeah, ebooks are on fire right now.
Tell us.
People want to consume recent information. They want to read from people that have an insight, a voice on a particular topic, and they're okay if it doesn't go through the formal publishing process and come out in a bookstore. So this is an opportunity really for direct consumerism, where you can publish your book yourself in many cases. It doesn't have to be 4,000 pages. Some ebooks are 40 pages, but the information is timely, and the information is coming from a source that people are hungry to hear from. Not to disparage like a college professor, but if only college professors are allowed to write books, then you're only going to get a narrow view of the world. Whereas people who are out there in the real world have many different perspectives. So I would say an ebook, and doing multiple ebooks, keeping them short and doing multiple ebooks on specific subjects, is a really great way for you to establish a baseline credibility in that field quickly. What happens is that the search engines, the search engines will find that information, and then their algorithms will start to treat you as an expert on that subject. So whenever that subject comes up, someone Googles, let's say, for example, you happen to be an expert on
well, like me, I'm the nine norms or COVID-19 recovery. So if I key in, you will come in.
So that subject, then, if somebody was searching for that, then those books would be suggested as reading, and it really opens up a whole wormhole then of opportunity, because if you have a course, they can find your course. If you have an online presence where maybe you have some archived videos, or maybe you have a podcast, they can enter your entire world at that point. And again, it's from a place of credibility because they read your book and they want to know more. And most people here are putting out, I would say, the ones that are really active. The ones that are really active are guys that are working in finance, people who are doing coaching. They're probably releasing an ebook at least once a month. Some of them are doing them every 4 or 5 days. They're
really? How short is an optimum ebook? What do you think?
I've read some that are 10 pages.
That's it, 10 pages, short and sweet.
Short and sweet, but the information is solid, and that's what people want. Boil it down for me. Give me just what I need to know. And again, it's like you're stoking the fire. That book will lead to the sale of the second book, which will lead to the sale of the third book. You're bringing them with you on that journey, and instead of saying, "Hey, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to take 5 years to do it, and it's going to have everything in it." No, write them and release them. Yep, and then people will follow you on that journey. And if you can do a podcast or you can participate in some online forums, you can get direct feedback from people, and then you can say, hey, everybody that just asked me questions, they're all going to be answered in the next book.
That's fascinating because, like 30 years ago, one of the best-selling business books was 1 Minute Manager. It's really smart. It's really simple stuff. And by Ken Blanchard, right? And he also came out with Situational Leadership, one of the pioneers. Everybody quotes Situational Leadership as their classic model from 1972. But it came out with 1 Minute Manager, very short and easy. But even now, it's even shorter with the internet age. People don't want to read anymore. I have a library behind me, but now everyone wants the Kindle and all that. So you're right. I think the biggest thing is for book is you want to write the best book ever on earth, right? But it's not gonna be. So I think it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it can be raw, even better, right, Craig? So get it out there. I remember Billie Eilish, the Grammy Award, very young, like when she was only 14, 15. She won now 7 Grammy Awards. And she got green hair. And she said, put your word out there, write it. Someone will read it. And if even one read it, that's it. You don't have to go for millions. You have touched someone, but you don't write it, no one knows. And that's why I write what I write.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. And then I don't know how popular they are over there, but it's very popular here in the U.S. Podcasts.
Podcasts, yes. So we have SoundCloud, right? SoundCloud in there. SoundCloud. So podcast is huge in USA.
Podcasts are huge here. Same thing. It's all topic related. So if you've got a business podcast, you could have a subgenre. People love those because they can listen to them while they're working out. They can listen to them while they're on their way to work or while they're cleaning their home. Whatever they're doing, they don't have to watch it. They could just listen. So those are very, very popular. Most of the popular podcasts here are seeing downloads that are double or triple of the television ratings.
Really?
Absolutely. Because they're, again, remember, when you turn on the television, that's somebody else programming for you, right? Yeah. When you turn on your podcast, that's you programming for you because you selected that topic, right? And it's going to be right down the barrel of what it is that you were interested in learning about. Me personally, I love true crime. So I love those podcasts where they actually in real time solve a mystery. Those to me are absolutely fascinating. But I also love the podcasts where they break it down and teach you how to do something. I think those are also extremely useful. And I would say this, that if somebody was looking for 2 things to do to revolutionize them in 2021, I would say work on an ebook and start a podcast. Okay,
guys, wherever you're listening, you can do 2 things: ebook, podcast. In fact, there are ebooks, software apps. I forgot what's the one that it comes to my feed every day. And you can do an ebook with different designs and different layouts. Just within in the intro video, it says you can do an ebook within 30 seconds with all the layouts, fonts, and visuals and templates. So ebook, podcast.
And let me say this, because I tend to be a person who's a bit of a perfectionist, and because of that, it causes me to procrastinate. And I'm able to come up with a million reasons why I am not ready to do something.
Write that book, yes.
And so let me say this: for your podcast, you don't need anything. You don't need anything except yourself. Don't make yourself crazy. Don't get online and look at what this guy has or what this lady has. You don't need the sound studio. You don't need a fancy microphone. You don't need. You can do it from your phone. I've seen people do it from their phone and literally upload it right to the SoundCloud. So this is what I would say is get out of your own way. Don't get inside your own head. You know, try it and just enjoy it and do it.
Yeah.
And with the ebook, I will say this: some people can't write. That's true. They have a really hard time writing.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's no longer an excuse, because there's something called Fiverr and there's something else called Upwork. These two websites, Fiverr.com and Upwork, are global creative agencies that will work.
This Fiverr and Upwork. Yeah.
So all you would have to do if you wanted to write an ebook is you could record it on your phone and you send it to the person over there for $10, for $15, for $20. They'll convert your audio file to text and edit it and send it back to you, and all you have to do is press publish. It's so the technology has risen to the point now where, and you're doing that guy or that gal a favor, because you've given them a job. You've let them to use their talent to do something. So definitely look at Upwork and Fiverr. Any kind of a service that you would want to find, you could find it on there. To design your book cover, to do the book editing. They can even make a 30-second commercial for you that you could share on Facebook and Instagram to invite people to buy your book.
Yes.
So this is what I would suggest. And then the other thing is, this is what's fun about podcasts. You can go on other people's podcasts as a guest. The minute you have an ebook, you're a published author. Everybody wants to interview published authors, so you can get on there and talk about your ebook. And then when those people are looking for a podcast, you can invite them on your podcast and you can interview them. It's a
I come to your interview, you come to my interview. So everything is so a global village right now, isn't it? We should Ganesh talk about this now. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, ebook, podcast. What about YouTube? What do you think? You know why I like a podcast is that I don't have to dress up, and I can have a script and I can articulate better, and I can just go and just read that and you know, verbalize it better. So this is I kind of like podcasts. Of course, I like the visual part too. What do you think of YouTube?
YouTube is great, and I think that what we're finding is that it really depends on the nature of the content. You know, if it's very important to see what's happening, or it's very important for you to see the person's face, then yes, YouTube. But for the most part, what we've found with most podcasts is that information is less important, because the listener, by going non-visual, is going completely cerebral. They're listening and they're thinking and they're painting those images in their own minds, which is very powerful.
Yes. Okay, I think we'll what do you call it? Samsu's gonna come next, and in fact we'll talk about that. And so sometimes the question is great. It's from Harita Mukan. Where are you, Harita? Harita Mukan. Are you there? So his question to you is, how do you combat procrastination in your own way? How do you stop that?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Harita here.
Yes. Oh, that's actually a workshop that we do for time management. You and I can answer that. Great.
Yeah. Well, Harita, thank you for attending, and thank you so much for the question. Listen, I am just like you. Like, you know, I'm affected by everything that happens, you know, and even with COVID, I have to say, you know, and I will say this because I want to be real and I have so much work to do. But you know, for me anyway, that's what I would say is, don't look at the whole pile of work that has to get done and let that stop you. Say, I can start. And that's what I'm going to do. And you can start it with sort of a joyfulness in your heart, because you know that you're on the way to doing something great, without the pressure. And that little joy in your heart will kind of keep you going and keep you, you know, uplifted as you kind of, you know, peck away at that big project that you're working on.
Actually, there are a few tips. I mean, me being the coach, you can grab 5. That means start just 5 minutes, drop everything, start writing it, start doing something, doing the easiest thing. Stop all the interruptions from people, especially maybe not your mother, because I always say when my mother calls, the call of God. But yeah, you have to start somewhere. I think the perfectionism in you will procrastinate. So you just start, grab 5, and then once you get the juices going, the creative juice, it will start flowing, and that creativity will come. And then writing is one of the hardest skills. Am I right, Craig? You and I are writers and journalists. And but once you start writing something, and it will flow with you. So yeah. Any last thoughts? Any other question? And then we'll go to Samsul. Samsul, you ready to go? Yeah. Oh, I had my hand up all this time. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So what can you do to offer people? Great. What can you do for us? For anyone in this audience, tell us what you can offer. Yeah. I mean, just a few things.
I'll throw this out there that if anybody wants to contact me, I'll do. They can always reach me through Robert. I'm happy to leave my contact information as well. I'm always involved in a variety of different things. I've traveled the world. I've worked around the world. As Robert said, I've worked in entertainment and branding. I've also been an investigative journalist. I've done consulting for governments around the world. So I have my finger in just about anything. Just to give you an example quickly, last night I was on the phone late into the night because we're rescuing a child that was kidnapped.
Wow.
And taken to the Ukraine. So we're at this point, I have a private military team that's organizing a rescue to rescue this child before it gets taken across the border into rebel territory. And so that's my investigative journalist side. The people found me because of something that I had written, and they were asking for help. So anybody can come to me. I'll always try to help. Regardless of the subject.
Yeah, Craig has done some reality TV and Crime 360 where the camera is on this. You can see the whole crime scene. I'm sure it's quite famous in Discovery Channel, as well as FBI files, and he's done exposés, and that's why don't be surprised that he's involved in all this rescue and all that. And he's an opera singer. And he speaks Mandarin.
Don't forget this. I love Malaysia. I love it there.
Yeah, I like most of Malaysia.
I'm so excited to come back there when the borders open.
Come back. Who wants him to come here again? Right there, hey, you can see it. Who wants it? Yeah, and then we can do, because I had, in fact, that time me and you, it was my most wonderful time. It was so fun and spontaneous. I really, really had a good time. I
love the food over there. The food is amazing. And Robert
in the SFU market.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely love to get over there. I just love it. I love the culture, the lifestyle over there. Malaysia has been able to have such a wonderful blend of cultures. It's really special. You guys, I probably don't know because you live there, but you're really a special, special place in the world. And anytime I can get a chance to go there, I'm so happy to go. So please invite me. I will come.
We will invite you, Craig. Thank you. Thank you. So stick around. We're going to have some expert panel coming, and then just stick around. Just stick around. We can bring it back. We can bring it back in the final Q&A. And you want to contact Craig, you can go to me or him, doesn't matter. I have all the, I'm like the hub. I'm like the hub of this cohort where you can, everyone comes to me, and then I'm like the mission impossible or possible to bring that. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Craig. Love you. Stay around. Well, we now ask for, yeah, Alice Fong say yes.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.